seen a card done by, I believe it was Queen and Company, and I decided to do a Design Space version of it because it was just so stinking cute. And I don't know what size they made their base. I made mine a 5 by 5 3/4. And you're just going to fold that base in half. Now, if you're on an Android, then you're going to be getting the version that has no print and cut in it, because this is a print and cut. And I don't know how long they're going to allow us to be able to weld our fonts and then still be able to share those files, because sometimes I get an error. So I'm going to share this one that has the Have a Glamorous Birthday on it with you guys, but if it won't open, there's also a file without it, with no print and cut. So everybody will be able to access the file. There are some small pieces, so you need to be very careful not to lose them, like those little bitty rectangles there. You're going to need those. But I'm just gluing this together for our tag. I had started a video and started one of these, and I had to rework the file, so I'm just starting completely over. I do have a spare should I need it, but so there we go with that. That's all there is to that part. And this, you can remove these lines if you want to. I just had them draw on there just for some interest. I used a zebra pattern I got offline. It was just random, and I uploaded it as a pattern and used it for the top part of my card. This is the hot pink plaid from Creative Fabrica, and this is the gray digital paper, I think is what it's called. This is out of that pack. It's been a while. So a little trick here. I have a piece of cardstock that is, make sure I'm putting this together the way I want it to go. I'm just going to flip those two pieces over. Little trick here. I'm just going to make sure that my pieces are squared up on each side so that I don't have to worry with those. And I'm just going to take my tape runner here and run a piece of tape, and then I'm just going to stick my paper right over it, and that's going to help me when I go to glue these, keeping those straight. You do have to make sure that they're straight when you put them together though, and I was off, but that's the beauty of it. There we go. It was just a scotch, but I wanted to fix it. So that will help you aligning it, and then you can just glue the whole thing. Now I did use paper. You can use copy paper. You don't want anything thick. You don't want cardstock or anything like that, because that will create a lump, and you don't want that. But just copy paper or thin paper will work. Even washi tape. Instead of the tape runner, you can use a washi tape just to hold them together so that you can align everything and get it on all at one time, instead of having to fight with 2 or 3 pieces of paper. Making sure it's all nice and straight. I think that's it. Nope. There we go. I'm still off. I'm usually standing when I do this so that I can see. There we go. There we go. And then we're going to take this strip and we're going to run it down the center. Trying to get that on as straight as possible. There we go. Super cute colors. Love, love, love. And then we have this banner, and it's going to go right in the center as well. And I am going to sand for this just to make it easy on myself. That looks pretty good. I'm just going to stick that. All right. Then this is our mascara. This is an access image, guys. You will, if you do not have access, need to find, my glue is dripping for whatever reason. It's never done that before. Making a big mess. I apologize. I don't want everything sticking to it. Oh, yeah. So this piece is an access piece. And I'm using Cricut cardstock on all my white, and I did my print and cuts on white Cricut cardstock. This piece is out of a piece of paper packaging, but the Cricut holographic will work. I just didn't want to throw it away. I wanted to use that piece that I had sitting in my stash. And I am getting glue over everything. Super cute, super fun pieces. But this, like I said, was out of a piece of packaging, and that's what I'm using. I didn't want to throw it away. I was like, that's pretty. I'll use it for something. And then you have this teeny tiny black strip right here. There are 2 dots on the other side of it. You can flatten these pieces for print and cut if you want. I figured I would just use some Nuvo drops or a black Copic marker or my Cricut marker and do the 2 dots on either side there. And then you have this piece. Which is going to go right in there. And then there is a small piece, and I left it on my mat. I'm gonna grab my tweezers right here. And if you lose this piece, don't sweat it, guys. You can use a piece of, or some Nuvo drops, or a marker, or anything, just to add this piece on there, just to show the bottom of the mascara tube. But you can use Nuvo drops, anything like that for these, or like I said, a Copic marker in pink, your Cricut pen in pink, and draw that in if you need to. Got some glue on my holographic there. Hopefully that will do it. So super cute. And I haven't decided if I want to do this at an angle, or I think I'm just going to pop it down right there. I do want to move it over just a little. I'm going to maybe make that just a little bit smaller in the file for you guys. Don't worry about it. I will take care of that. Mine was a little large. I forgot I changed the size of this piece, and that's why. And I forgot to resize that. All right. So next we have our lipstick tube, and that's where all these little pieces come in. Now you're going to need either some rhinestones or something. I'm using, these are from Queen & Company, as a matter of fact. They are from Candy Shop, but they are called Deco Dots. Guys, I've had these for years. They may still be available. Maybe not. Use what you have. You can use rhinestones, anything that you want. And we are going to start with these 2 pieces. And you want to make sure that the holes are lining up, because I think there is a slight difference if you go the other way. There is. You don't want to line it up that way. So you want to make sure that it gets lined up properly. And then you'll want to glue those 2 together. And I have to decide which way this goes. Let me double check in the file because it will matter. And the long end goes towards the bottom, okay? Short end at the top. Then we're going to take these pieces and we are going to glue all of those together. Stack all of them. Now, if you rather use foam tape, you can use foam tape. I just didn't want the foam tape to show because this was so small on the sides. I believe the 1/8 inch tape will work, but I'm afraid that it might show. And you can get those at Stampin' Up, okay? Pretty sure. Yeah, they'll go in there, but you can see they're going to show on the sides because you can't put them far enough in. We're just going to continue all, I believe 6 of those, and hoping that that is enough. Just getting them as straight as possible. And here we are with the last one. So cute. Okay, now we have all of these pieces. You want to take this square piece and you're going to glue it to the base of the lipstick itself. Just like so, get it good and even. Right on that base. Okay, now this piece is going to go in here, but it's not going to fit flat across the bottom. It's going to be lifted up here. So I'm going to take this piece and we're going to glue it. We're going to glue that right on and get it good and straight. Let that get good and dry. Got some glue in there, and that's okay. Just want to make sure it's dry before we start putting our other piece in there. And then you have this little piece of silver. You can cut this from, like I said, I used a scrap, but you can use whatever you have. Cricut. I'm putting that on glue on the wrong side of that. I'm gonna put it right down on this edge. And I got the small edge to the top. This is wider down at the bottom. I'm just gonna place it. Oops, doesn't want to stick to anything but me. Let's stick this right, center it horizontally. And we're gonna let that dry. Just want to make sure I got my black piece off just a little bit. Make sure you get yours straight. If not, just trim that off. You don't want any edges hanging. So just make sure that it's can move freely in that channel. Okay. Then we are going to take these 6 little pieces. I think 6 are going to be enough. If not, I will let you know and we will add some. And this is going to be a little bit tedious. Just going to help Let me pick them up, but we want to get those together and we want to get them squared up. Might do better without the tweezers. I don't know. They are tiny. You could use foam here too, probably. But if it's got any sticky on the side, it might not want to operate like we want it to. And I'm just using my tweezers to press them together. That one went on fairly easy. Okay. I'm going to give that a second to dry there. I'm cleaning some of this glue off of my fingers. There we go. I'm going to give that time to dry. And I'm just going to check it and make sure that it fits in that channel and it slides freely, and it does. You can see there. Keep sticking to my finger so I know it's not dry. I'm going to give it time to dry. And we're going to place our lipstick in there. Just going to bring this right below. I want to make sure that I have it in the right spot. So I'm going to bring this into the card here. Like so. All right, and you can see that pink line. So I'm going to pull that up to where I cannot see that pink line right there, okay? I'm just going to put a touch of glue right here. I'm going to pull this apart while I get some glue going there. And you can see right there at the bottom, but we want to have it in that channel. I don't know if it would be easier to glue this and then do it, but I'm thinking right at the bottom, I am going to glue it. I'm not going to glue the sides yet, but I am going to glue that base. Make sure that it's nice and even. And that way I can still get to it. And I can see, I know it's going to be hard to see on camera, guys, but I can see that base of that. But I just want to make sure that I get it lined up center. I'm just going to glue that right on, okay? I can still get it apart, but I don't think I need to. And I've got just a tiny bit of pink showing, so I'm going to take my Copic marker. You can use any black marker. I don't want to see that. And I'm just going to dab it so that I don't see any pink in that channel. Since I didn't glue it shut, I can just come in here and just go across it just a little bit there. Now I don't see any pink when it is on the card. So now this should move freely in that channel. And now we're going to glue this, and you want to be very careful here. Actually, I'm going to glue these sides next. Just don't want to get any glue on the inside of it. Drop that down in, and then I'm going to seal that up. Get the glue off the sides. This is going to be so cute. And now with that down, you have to decide how you want your rhinestone or your button or how you want it on there. And I think I'm just putting a little teeny tiny small amount of glue, and I am going to use a glue dot, an adhesive dot. Yeah. My dots are stuck. I got one stuck to the top there. That one's going to be a little too large. I'm going to pause and grab the right size glue dot. Okay, guys, what I actually opted for was some red line tape, and I've got just enough. I mean, just enough to go on that. Okay, you don't want more than that. And I'm going to stick that dot on there. And that is plenty for it to give it the movability that we need. And this is a little thick. It gives it some good dimension on the card. If you want yours thinner, you can absolutely go a little bit thinner. I wouldn't go too thin. And then we're going to place that right there. How stinking cute is that? And then this should clear, and it does. Yay. So we're just going to glue this down. How stinking cute. Super fun, super fun. And they put a dot on theirs there, but I didn't. I'm going to maybe not get drops on my card there. And I think I'm going to do, I have some of these little silver dots. We'll just glam it up a little bit. And I'm not going to press these down until I get them where I want them. How cute. Might toss one over here as well. Glam it up like you want. Have fun with it. And I'm going to move that one there. Maybe do a large one. Right here. How fun is this? All right. I think that's plenty. How stinking cute. I hope you guys enjoy this file. Please give a thumbs up, a like. Thank you, Queen and Company, for the inspiration. And I will catch you guys on the next video.